Hi there. Thanks for joining us today. It is such a privilege to get this time with you each week. While we're getting started, would you head over to Facebook or Instagram and search Blended Family Breakthrough and follow us? We would love to stay connected with you. All right, hon, ready to hop in?
Yep, let's do it. Over the past couple of weeks, we've been diving into the relational heartache and pain that so many of us tend to experience. The truth is that every married couple faces challenges. But when you add in the complexities of blending a family, those challenges often intensify. There's uncertainty, confusion, and emotional pain, and sometimes it just feels overwhelming. We've all been there, right?
Yeah. And that's why we're so excited to introduce our special guests today, because they're going to offer some real reassurance that you're not alone and that the struggle is real. So right after the intro, you're going to hear the story of EJ and Tarah Ke. Both were professional therapists who fell in love and found themselves in the thick of blended family challenges.
Now, you'd think that as therapists, they would have had all the answers when it came to navigating the blended dynamics, right? But their story might surprise you because they struggled a lot. And chances are some of the pain and challenges they faced will sound pretty familiar to you too.
Exactly. You know, EJ and Tarah are going to share what they've learned while walking through those difficult seasons and how they found their way forward. Together, they founded Renovation Counseling Center, which offers a unique approach rooted in intentional communication and empathy, tools that lead to real relational growth.
They also host a top-ranked podcast that helps couples suffer less and love more. And we're so grateful for the chance to connect with them here on the show. We know you'll come away from this episode with practical insights, renewed encouragement, and fresh hope for whatever you're walking through in your relationship.
So let's get to it. Just after the intro, listen in on our conversation with EJ and Tarah Ke. Welcome to the Blended Family Breakthrough Podcast. We're your hosts, Mike and Kim.
We believe in a world where blended families can experience a future full of hope, connection, and peace.
That's why we offer tools, strategies, and guidance that move you from a place of confusion and conflict to experiencing a life of confidence and connection.
We're so glad you're joining us for authentic and sometimes comical conversations as we cover everything from romance to parenting and yes, even dealing with that difficult ex.
So if you're ready to experience breakthrough in your blended family, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Well, hey, welcome, EJ and Tarah. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Yeah, thank you guys. It's great to be here.
We love talking anything blended, family, anything. So yes, thank you for having us.
Well, you're on the right show then. Yeah,
Yes.
Thanks for being here. I wonder if we could just get started by maybe telling a little bit about the work that you do, and then what got you started on this journey?
Yeah.
I mean, I think our relationship is sort of at the heart of it. We met a little bit later in life. I was like 38 or so. I was at the end of a relationship. I was in the middle of the end of a divorce and had two boys, 2 and 4. And we adored each other and we loved each other and we had, tons of fun. We had the kids half the time and then we didn't have them. And then we got pregnant on our honeymoon. And Tarah instantaneously basically went from living in the foothills in this beautiful condo, single, to 4 kids under 5 in 18 months. And it was super difficult.
Yes, because we got pregnant with twins on our honeymoon. And well, the big thing for me was, so we're both therapists. I've been a marriage therapist for 20 years. And EJ and I met, we were therapists at a residential center together. And so, yeah, we just had this awesome relationship. Even when we found out we were pregnant with the twins, we were like, oh my God, so much love. We're so excited. And so, we were still working with our clients and, he kind of had to take over everything because I was so busy at home because I did go from 0 to 4 kids under 5. And then once that transition happened, and like, that's when I was overwhelmed. We were breaking down. I was done. I wanted a divorce. I had never been that overwhelmed in my entire life, not just with the kids, but with everything that comes with like the ex control. Like felt so busy. I didn't even know what happened. My world had just turned from like calm, fun, EJ and I connecting to, I don't even have time to make myself a cup of coffee. And I missed going to work. So fast forward 2 years later, we opened up a couples counseling center because I said to EJ, if 2 trained therapists are having this difficult of a time with this transition into our new blended family, we have to help other couples in our community. So we have to figure this out for us. And so that's in 2016, we opened up our relationship renovation counseling center and kind of, just developed an approach for couples to have a beginning, middle, and end, right? To go through a process to feel more connected, build skills, to do what it takes to have healthy relationships with your partner and with your family.
And we knew that the way we'd done couples counseling before, we didn't love. We didn't feel empowered as therapists, and so we wanted to put a lot of thought into it. And we knew structure was sort of at the heart of what couples want. Couples want, when they come in, their lives feel totally out of control. Everything feels like it's breaking down, and they want to walk into a situation where they feel like somebody's got them.
Yeah.
And they're not in perpetual therapy and so we built this model, and it's built up on both of our perspectives and a lot of stuff we learned, and it just was amazing. I mean, we helped a ton of couples right away, and then eventually we had a waiting list, and then we got to the point where we're like, okay, let's start hiring other therapists, and it was teachable, and they were able to preserve who they are uniquely as therapists and help people. And then since then we've gotten to we have like a dozen therapists on our staff. We have started the podcast a few years later. And I mean, people have always liked the realness of like, it's hard. Yeah. We're not preaching from some mountaintop. Like we got it figured out. Like I still act like a jerk, we still have difficult moments.
But I will say, like, for us, something that we still navigate, but we get better, was like the blended family dynamics, like the powerlessness I felt as a stepmom, right? And so like being able to have tools for that now and have an amazing relationship with my stepkids that I didn't before because I was just resentful. I'm like, I have to go pick them up from kindergarten with these newborn twins. What? No one's going to help me? Because EJ took over for me. So I would be with these 4 kids for like until 9 o'clock at night at times, doing homework, making dinner, nursing every hour. Like literally, I was just like, somebody, Kelgon, take me away.
Tarah, they weren't like, why, thank you for doing this for me.
I said, this is a thankless job. I remember I would make them like these really healthy, delicious smoothies, and they were picky eaters. And I was like, do you know what I've done to try to make this smoothie? And then, I mean, it was just overwhelming. And I would say too, like, and not that we're getting into this right now, but like EJ's ex and I are very different when it comes to parenting. So like what I wanted for his boys was not what she wanted. And she's the biological mom. So she won every time, every time. And because EJ and her did not have a healthy relationship, he would stay silent. And just let that happen. So then I would build resentment that keeps happening. And it just, I mean, so over and over our repetitive arguments, I would say that was like the most time that I spent in therapy was around my role as a step parent and feeling powerless. Sorry, I hope that's okay to say.
We've heard it said that, being a stepmom is kind of like lighting your hair on fire and trying to put it out with a hammer.
It is. And then stepmoms get all the bad, like even like Cinderella and all the whatever. It's like, I'm like, so I started calling myself B mom, bonus mom, and my bonus kids, because that felt better. I'm not like a wicked stepmother.
Yeah.
The tough thing about Tarah is like she's such a effervescent person and really wants people to have great experiences. So it was really like it was hard to make sense of sometimes because like there was Be Mom Mondays where I would be at work, but she would be sending me these pictures of her and all the kids having a blast at the park. And I'd be like, oh, she loves this. And then like a day later, it'd be like, I hate this. I'm leaving you. This is the worst. And it was just like, okay, well, which one is it? And my own avoidance would, of conflict would get in the way. And there was always this tension also between, because Tarah said like she felt powerless. And like I felt very powerless because I felt like I didn't truly have the ability to just go to my ex and be like, hey, we're doing this. Like they're joining a soccer team and they're sticking on the soccer team.
Right.
Like, so like we both felt powerless, but our powerlessness was just very different. And we weren't super empathetic, I don't think, of each other's, each other's perspective and each other's experience. And that is so much of the work that we do with couples in general is rebuilding empathy. Because oftentimes by the time they get to somebody like you or us, they're just like, my partner is just a pain in the butt. Like everything they do is basically tormenting me and making me unhappy. And I think that's been a lot of our journey of healing is that like, well, no, I'm honestly not trying to make you unhappy, Tarah. And I don't think you're trying to make me unhappy either,
Yeah. It's that our pain that we're experiencing overrides our ability to have empathy.
Yeah.
Like the pain is just so intense that it is hard to empathize. Yeah.
Because it seems like literally they're doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
It feels
I think like Tarah felt, I think like Tarah legitimately was like, you are not following through on this, this, and this, and this is killing me, and you're choosing to do that.
Wow, how many times do we hear that?
I know. Yeah, absolutely. I hear you describing what we call the stranded stranger trapped teammate a dynamic, right?
Yeah.
Tara's kind of this stranded stranger where she's trying to do all these things, but she maybe doesn't feel as connected or able to influence in the way that she wants to. And EJ's probably feeling trapped sometimes between maybe what the boys want, what Tarah wants, or what the ex wants, or what Tarah wants. And I'm like a rope and a tug of war trying to go, I don't even know how to deal with all this.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was especially early on. That was, and then it got, it got better because we practiced some of our own tools and tried to not be as activated in those moments and explored what was really going on internally, what were the negative core beliefs so each of us were getting activated. But, even up to like a few months ago, there's moments of like where it just feels like, man, why can't we be on the same team here? Yeah. Because we really do at the end of the day want the same things. We want to love each other. We want these kids to be successful and happy.
Yeah, of course.
And just like the things you don't think about, like EJ feeling guilt for having more connection with the twins because they're with us 100% of the time.
Yes.
And like feeling like, oh my gosh, I've missed like half of my boy's life. Yeah. And like, I mean, there's just so many elements that go into it that we got really good at talking about it, but we did not know how to talk about it before. Yeah. But like even because the transition would happen, like it's a week on, a week off. A week on when they're with us, I would be anxious all of the time. And I would just feel awful in my body. And then that week off, I'm like, oh, thank God. It's over. Okay. I've got 1 week to and then I was like, I cannot live like this.
Yes.
I cannot live 1 week on so anxious all of the time. Something has to happen.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, we hear about that a lot from the couples we coach, that sense of the step parent feeling dread when the on week is coming, like, and then feeling guilty for feeling dread. And that's so tough.
Well, seeing your partner dreading two people that you love.
Right.
It's a shitty feeling, it's just like, oh, yuck. Like, and then trying to like balance that thing of being like, okay, I get why she's anxious and trying to be empathetic and not being reactive to it. Not being like, how dare you like dread seeing these two people I love, it was just like, so complicated. And then if like we had talked like earlier a little bit about like, then if you don't have the tools as far as just regulating your own nervous system, like on the most basic level, forget whatever the content is. Cause this is a lot of what we help couples with is like whatever it is, whether it's money or blended family or in-laws, if you can't manage your own nervous system and in moments of conflict, like what are the chances you're ever gonna have a positive outcome?
Pretty darn low.
Well, I can say now though, like this is when I know I'm not fully healed, right? But like I can't wait to see them now. And when they leave, I get really sad. Like the dread is gone. But it took a lot of work for me in my own journey. But I was willing to do it because it's our family.
I love that. I
can relate to you in that, Tarah. I'm sort of in your position in our story where Kim had a 5-year-old girl when we first got married, Annika, and then we've had 2 kids since then. And we're 24 years in. Annika's almost 30 years old now, and we just got to spend an overnight with her a couple of weeks ago, and I was just overjoyed. Like we had so much fun just reconnecting with her. But that's been quite a journey to get there.
Yeah, there were times when she really pushed your buttons, boy.
Oh boy, and Kim's ex as well. But what I love for people listening, and not just people listening to this recording, but me listening to you right now. Like I'm just a regular old guy, and here's a couple of therapists in front of me. They're like, "Yeah, this was really hard." I think too many people sometimes turn inward when things aren't going well, and they think, man, something must be wrong with me. No, nothing's wrong with you. It's just that the structure and the dynamics and all the circumstances press in and they activate that nervous system, and away we go. And sometimes we act really poorly when that happens. But the great part is we can do something about it.
Absolutely.
EJ, I love a moment ago you said, what are the tools that we need? What are the skills that we need to develop, which you two have worked on your entire marriage and have been teaching other couples. You also mentioned that you tend to avoid when things get tough. And I'm a recovering avoider as well. Still working on it, but so much progress, right? I'm just wondering if you can share some of the tools that you learned for having these meaningful conversations with each other when you hit a rough patch and when you have to navigate really tough topics and issues that are bound to come up. How do we talk about it even when we don't want to talk about it?
Well, I mean, a big thing for me was realizing that I thought my avoidance was actually a very healthy coping skill. I had convinced myself through like meditation and other stuff that like, if I don't react, then I'm the sane one. And because Tara's feeling something strongly, she is insane, even though I'm a therapist, And so that was like big for me. But the tool for us that made a huge difference was what we call code word. And it was just like, it was identifying when is the moment where one of us, because I'm the only one who can like be responsible for myself. When is the moment when I am out of I think Mark Singer says the window of tolerance.
Dr. Dan Siegel.
Dan Siegel. Like, when am I out of my window of tolerance? And because it looks different, Tara out of her window of tolerance is escalated. Me out of my window of tolerance, I'm not present. I'm, even avoidant, dissociative, and so it was a 2-part thing. It was like, we helped couples and we helped ourselves establish like, what is a code word? What is something? How do I identify when I am not able to be my best self? And then how do I stop it in that moment? And then the second part is creating a protocol of, instead of in that moment focusing on Tara and everything that I think she's doing wrong, how do I immediately hold up a mirror and look at myself? And how do I look at, and how do I identify what am I feeling? What am I thinking? What am I doing? What is the negative core belief that's being activated within me? And then if I take that time to really deeply look internally at myself, understand what's going on, first of all, I'm empowered then to maybe go back and connect with Tarah in a useful way.
Yes.
But I'm also able to come back and say like, hey, this is me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to tell you, I'm not responsible for how you reacted. I'm not going to judge you, blame you. I'm just going to come back and say, this is what's happening for me. And there's oftentimes then a much different outcome. And we, you know, and it took practice. It took years.
Well, yes, because I used to walk on eggshells. Like I can't talk to EJ about how I feel about the boys. That's like a sore subject. Like, so I would just hold, like you said, I would hold it all in because my story was that he would get defensive. He would say, no, you can tell me anything, but it's such a strong, powerful bond that, cause I know with our kids, right, with our twins, like I have so much love for them. I have so much love for our stepkids, but like I was so resentful around EJ not maybe setting boundaries or following through, or maybe that I couldn't even approach him.
Well, I think
that when we started doing our code word and like really understanding what was happening, like then I could start to feel safe to come to him and he could hear me. But before, like, and then who else are you going to complain about? Like a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old? Like that's horrible. That's mean.
Right.
But
well, I think a big discovery, and I feel like it just like really locked in. You know, we've been together a while and dealing with this, but it really locked in just in the last couple of years was that you didn't get what you thought you wanted out of our family.
yeah.
And that you had a vision of a really beautiful vision of what you would like it to be, of the connection and the interaction between all of us. And when that didn't happen, when you would see times of disconnection,
It was awful.
or you wouldn't see them doing things that were probably in their best interest, then you resented me because I was the one keeping it in those moments, in those activated moments. I was keeping your dreams of a family from coming to fruition. Wow. And I had to I had to find a way to hear that and see the beauty of it instead of getting lost in my judgment around your communication in that uncomfortable moment. Because I didn't really realize just how painful that was for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds like Tarah had some expectations of how this was going to go. And then when that vision didn't happen, or when that disappointment hit because it wasn't going that way, it was hard for her to be able to express that to EJ in a way that he could actually engage in. Is that right?
Well, and a desire to heal stuff from her past, because she grew up in this really dysfunctional family. And then to see our dysfunctional family, it was like, what the F? You know, what's going on here?
Totally.
That's so true, because like I love connection. I love a sense of belonging. And when it's the 4 of us, like me, EJ, and the twins, we just like, we're so connected.
Yeah, it's different.
And and then when the boys, even as they got older, would come over, like they would just isolate and go into their rooms, not even like say hi. I was like, no way, I can't live in this. Like, I did this my whole life growing up. Like, sorry, I'll get emotional.
That's okay.
That's all right. It's a good.
I was just like, how is this happening? Like, all I wanted to do was create amazing family time.
Yeah.
And at their mom's house, it's so different. They're able to just isolate and be, and there's no expectations of anything. And so I just finally grieved that I will never have that. And then I just opened my heart to be with who they were now and accepting, but still have boundaries.
Sure.
Like my boundary is you can't isolate in your room with your phone. You have to at least be out, and you have to come say hi, and you have to say goodbye. So I had a boundary. And so I was an adult now. And instead of this frayed, like kind of like what would happen was they come over, I would be this like anxious little girl who was like, are people going to say hi to each other? Are people going to talk to each other? Or are people going to isolate? But once I kind of got through my own therapy and I was like, I'm the adult, I can have boundaries. This is a child.
Yeah.
That I could have that and accept the situation. Like our relationship, they get it. They're like, this is important. So they would be like, hey, how was your day? Like just the little things. So me letting go of control and just having healthy boundaries and speaking like an adult is what actually helped.
Yes.
But before I would be like resentful and be like, how can you be here and not come say hi to your brother and sister? My big thing was like, you guys have these 2 siblings that you don't care about. That's what it looked like to me. But that's just, they're just very different from me.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a lot.
Yeah. But I hear you saying there, Tarah, is you made this shift, this profound shift from demanding compliance and wanting control and, why are they doing this and why aren't they doing that, to releasing what you thought, how you thought things would be, grieving that. I mean, that's a huge step in the process, is grieving those things that you thought would happen. And then moving from control to healthy boundaries and an openness to connect.
Yeah. Softness.
Yes.
That was huge. And then the second thing was my role. Like I'm an overfunctioner. Like I would constantly overfunction for everybody.
Yep.
Because to keep safe. When I was little, that's what I would do, right? I started working at 8 to like feed my twin and I. Like I just, so then because of the poor communication between EJ and his ex, I was like, oh my God, nobody's going to do it. I couldn't trust that they would do it. So I'm like, I was on them about grades, about missing assignments. And finally my therapist was like, Tarah, that's not your job. And I was like, well, if I don't do it, everyone will just die.
Right.
The world will explode.
And that wasn't true. So I started to trust EJ. I can't trust the other part of it, but I could trust that EJ can handle this. And that's not my role. My role is to be a kind, loving person, not to like look at missing assignments. Like, I'm sorry, that's you and, their mom's job. Like, that's not what I want to do. And I'm just going to trust that you can do that. And so once I stopped over functioning too, that was like another, like huge letting go.
Yeah.
Well, and it forced me on some level to be consistent.
Right.
Like because I wasn't consistent, and I was not just avoiding in conflict with Tarah, but I was avoiding in conflict with the ex,
Sure.
and so it made me then be like, okay. And then it wasn't just consistency though. I also had to be consistent, and then I had to communicate about what I was being consistent about. And I had to be like preemptive.
Yes.
Because even that, like, I would like, check their grades or like, be on one kid about something or other. And then Tara would be like, well, you haven't even done this. And I'd be like, I just did that like 2 days ago. I just didn't tell you. And she's like, well, you got to tell me. And I'm like, well, and so it was, so then it was like another conflict. But a lot of it was that we also had to establish systems, right? Like we had to say cause, and I'm much better if I know like, okay, every Monday before they come, I'll look at their grades and I'll tell Tara, like, what are the, things that I'm going to talk to so-and-so about. And then, okay, Tara, I'm going to do that. And then, okay, well, I talked to him and he said this. Okay. And that built trust for Tara that I can let go, because she doesn't want to have to control everything. She truly doesn't. She just feels like if it doesn't happen, if she doesn't deal with it, then it just won't get done.
Yeah. And I will say for anybody listening, like when we went to this couples retreat with Dr. Stantek, and he's like, a huge researcher and marriage therapist. And he's just like, he's a lovely person. And he's just, they call him the mad scientist of couples relationships. And he, I think he did this actually on our podcast. He shared the triple P's: predict, plan, prepare. You predict, you plan, prepare for everything that you can. And we would notice if we didn't do our triple P's right before the boys would come, it would be a freaking train wreck.
Yeah.
And so we got really good at like, okay, prediction. They're coming on Monday. They're probably going to isolate in their rooms on their phone because that's just what they do. So what's our preparedness and what is our plan? That EJ's like, hey boys, you know, we're going to do a walk with the dog with your siblings and then this and this and this and make sure we're going to have dinner together. So we would just triple P it, predict and prepare. You can't prepare for everything.
Right.
And that helped us feel so much more empowered than just like, hopefully they come in and say hi today.
Yeah.
Because my big thing is I just want to make sure their brains are growing and they're developing and they're social and you know, and I think my own, when I see someone isolating with a screen, like it's already so different for us with technology.
Yep.
Just like, working in the mental health field, I used to work with adolescents in crisis. Like I have much more of a hypervigilance to it, I think, than EJ does. But now we do that and it's like we have this engagement and it's awesome.
Well, and I think also like the more together we were on stuff, then the less conflict there was. Because I think for them also, when they came over, oftentimes it felt tense.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that part of why they would go into their rooms was it felt like weird. And they were just like, they were kind of a little bit tuned into it, you know? And so the more we are together and they know what the clear expectations are of them, and there's no tension between Tara and I when they come over, just the better the family is and the more they want to connect. And we've like definitely noticed, even just in the last couple months, like our oldest is getting ready. He's going off to college and we were feeling him pull away about 3 or 4 months ago. And then we had a couple of really direct conversations about like, we really miss you and we want you to be around and your brother and sister adore you.
Sure.
And we were direct with him. And he's been amazing the past couple months.
Awesome.
He's been like so much more connected. He went on a camping trip with us with a bunch of little kids.
Oh my God, he was awesome.
And and he's just been like so, and it was just like us being really direct with them, communicating with them, and it made a big difference.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that triple P model, the predict, plan, prepare.
Yeah.
What I hear in that, you know, so many of the dynamics in blended families are ones that pull us apart rather than drive us together when it comes to the couple. And this little model gave you two something you could focus on as a team, which I'm guessing really built your unity. And when we started learning that type of thing, it wasn't this exact model, but we started learning some of that type of work as well. One of the things I discovered was how I could then, as opposed to being judging Kim for her parenting or her avoidance or anything like that, I kind of became her cheerleader and her encourager and was able to be like, man, I saw you hold the line last night. That was awesome. Way to go. And that started empowering her and also really kind of lifting her spirits. And I saw, what's the word I'm looking for? Confidence grow in her. Yeah. And then that just kind of continued to perpetuate itself. I don't know if that resonates for you guys, but that was something we experienced.
Absolutely. I mean, we literally went from feeling very disempowered in this blended family to very empowered. And now we get to have, you know, like even me crying yesterday because, you know, our oldest he spent his last night at our house. It's like so sad. Yeah. And then I got to grieve it and hug him and love on him. And I'm like, oh my God, you've just been with us since you were 3. And then that night, our 11-year-old son was like kind of shut down a little. And I was like, honey, you know, right before we go to bed, what's happening? And he just started crying. I'm going to miss Forrest so much, mommy. Yeah. Like being able to have that grief and the emotions of the transitions and then like showing that within your family, like it's so awesome, but it feels emotionally safe, right? But there were so many times it didn't feel emotionally safe. And that's where it felt so awful.
Yes.
That's where the dread came, right? Like it's going to be emotionally unsafe for a week. But now that it feels like that, it's like we can all be our unique selves under one house. There's 6 of us plus our animals. And it just feels good now. And it can happen. Like we are living proof, you know, that it can happen. But it takes some difficult conversations. Yeah. It definitely takes some emotion regulation. and predict, plan, and prepare. Always.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that.
Yeah. And no avoidance, right?
Right.
We've got to go there. We've got to have these tough conversations and figure out how we're going to build a partnership that works, that thrives, that's healthy, and talk about the hard things.
Mm-hmm.
We have to figure out a way to be supportive of our partner's areas of growth instead of just being agitated by them. Because if Tarah is only agitated by my avoidance, then it's never going to work out because I clearly need some help.
Yes.
I don't even know sometimes when I'm doing it.
Right.
And so it's so helpful if instead of her judging me, she's able to find a way. And I also have to work on being receptive to hearing it. But if she can say, hey, is this like a time, like, are you struggling to have this conversation? Or is there a reason you haven't done this? Then like she's my ally in it instead of just another person who I feel is just like kind of at me. It's just, you're just another person in the world who's just trying to, bring me down.
Sure.
Make me feel like crap about myself. Like, I know this is a problem. Like, believe me, I know, especially after, all these years of marriage, I know this is a problem, but if you just judge me about it, then it's not going to help me.
Yeah, we're going to get defensiveness.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was at. And pressure, too, was not good for me. Mike would put pressure in the early years when he really didn't understand how to communicate about this. Why didn't you say something? Why aren't you fixing this? Why are you allowing this? It would just like make me feel so pressured. And that
because the subtext is like, you're screwing up.
Exactly. You're a bad parent. Yep.
Yeah, you suck.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
That's what I felt 100%. I felt like I suck.
Yeah.
And my child is out of control.
Yeah.
That's what I heard too.
And isn't it funny how in those moments of pain when we're just kind of stuck in our own stuff, it's like, honey, I really need you to have patience with me for change, and I'll get there eventually. But I need you to change right now.
Right?
That's standard.
I mean, we don't necessarily, if we said that out loud, we would hear it and go, wait, that's kind of stupid. But that's what we do a lot of times.
I know.
Yeah. It reminds me of that, like, it's a little, I don't know if they have them. I used to buy these little toys where you stick your finger in both ends of it. And the more you try to pull it apart, the tighter it is. And that's the way it feels like, no, I'm right. No, I'm right. You just need to change. It's just
Exactly.
But I love what you said there a minute ago, EJ, that I had to be receptive to her input. And that's so true. I mean, biological parents, we all have blind spots in our parenting, especially coming out of divorce or any kind of loss. We've got guilt, we've got grief we're managing, we've got maybe fear and insecurity. And so we parent the best we can, but we all have blind spots, and a step parent coming in, identifies those very quickly. Because they're on the outside. They see it from a different perspective, and it's a valuable perspective. However, if we're not able to receive and hear the value of their perspective, we're not going to make any progress.
Right.
But as I've said before, Mike has made me such a better parent. When I finally got to the 100%. Place where I could receive it and we could partner, I mean, I don't even know where my daughter would be if I had continued down the parenting trajectory I was on, because I was very permissive. No boundaries, just, I mean, my daughter basically was calling all the shots. And of course, that's just not healthy. I needed to make some changes.
Yeah, I love that. And we, like in our lobby, it says our partner is our greatest teacher. Be patient for the lesson. It's so true. Like uncomfortable times, that is our growth areas. But as humans, we want to definitely not experience uncomfortable. We're just going to blame.
Well, I have a thought. So there were so many times where I did not show up well as stepdad to sometimes this little girl, Annika, and other times this teenage girl, Annika, and many times along the way, I just messed up. I would use harsh words. I would elevate my voice. There was slamming of doors. There was all kinds of just, silly activity for me. And I know there's step parents also who are listening saying, you don't understand. I've just messed up. I've really messed up. What do we do to start moving toward repair after we mess up in a relationship like that? What are your thoughts?
So, right. So immediately I'm thinking, so with my relationship with EJ is one thing, because we have a whole thing we go through. It's called the cognitive relational restructuring. But with my step kids, I would notice very quickly, like, oh my gosh, they probably see me loving on my twins and me being so like angry towards them. So I would start to say, like, especially when I was in my healing, like, I know I have a lot of anxiety and you probably are experiencing this like as control or something, but I just want you to know that's not, it's because I love you so much. And they would, it's either in a text or person, they'd be like, cool, thanks. One word, but that's okay, because did my parents ever apologize to me? Never. I never wanted the boys to think it was about them. So I was always very honest and real around my limitations, like that. Sometimes I just felt like powerless because I wanted you to be in like a sport. And I know that that would have been so awesome for you, for me, you know? And so I feel like that was really helpful with the step kids, that I could be honest with them, that I could say, I made a mistake. I know I haven't been my best self. I'm really sorry. And then even in, so with our oldest who's going away on our Mother's Day, one of them wrote in a card, like, I know we've had our moments, but I know how much you love me. And I feel like it's because of those just being honest and saying, I wasn't my best self and I'm really sorry and I love you. And it's because of my anxiety and I'm working on that. So please don't internalize that.
Yeah, I love that.
Being real and open.
Yeah, being real. I would imagine age appropriately. That's probably mature
Age appropriately,
as the
for
boys
sure.
have matured. But I also just love that simple phrase, and that could be, in the moment, that the later that night or the very next day. Hey, earlier today, I know I wasn't my best self, and I just want to own that, and I apologize. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I remember as a little girl, like my mom or my stepdad being like so cruel. And they wouldn't come and apologize. And I'd go to bed like, what did I do? What could I do better? That's how I became an overfunctioner, people pleaser to the max. I'm really freaking good at it.
Yep.
So I wanted to make sure everyone was okay. So I just don't ever want my kids ever to have to internalize my mood, thinking.
I don't want to derail this, but I just have to say something. That what you just said fascinates me, Tarah. I grew up in a very dysfunctional, abusive blended family. And I have also become an overfunctioner because it was all about keeping the peace. If I could keep stepmom happy, then everybody else would stay happy.
It's a coping mechanism.
That's just fascinating to me that, very similar backgrounds, it sounds like. So
that is how we feel safe, right? Like,
yeah. EJ, what would you add to all that?
Well, I mean, I just think Tarah and your story, are just evidence of the fact that children adapt, and they're like anything else. They're like humans. What we have is we try to make our environment better, and as little people, we internalize that it's us. And so when a parent, and Tara was always pretty amazing about this, would be, she would come back and say, hey, this happened. She would name it, whereas I might avoid it. She would name it. And I think what it did was the natural thing for the two boys would have been just like, we're the problem. You guys would be happier if we weren't here. And then that would have made things worse and worse and worse. And Tara's ability to be accountable with insight helped them from a very early age understand what was going on.
Yeah.
And it is, you're right. There's a different conversation you have with a 7-year-old versus a 15-year-old.
Sure.
Right.
But the theme, it's just really the words you choose, and Tara was always like, hey, I was really frustrated or whatever. And it's just, but I care and I want you guys to do this. And I see these things happening and I'd like them to be different, you know? When she communicated it, it wasn't ever, you're the problem.
Yeah.
Yes.
You two. And I think that's what happens with when you have a step parent or a parent for that matter, who doesn't do their own work. They blame the child. I mean, that's I'm sure what Tarah's stepdad and her mom did was it was always their fault. You're the one making it a mess. You're the one doing this. You're the problem. And so the kids believe that, even if they know that you're an idiot, you know, even if she knows that, you know, she knows all the negative things about her mom and stepdad.
Yeah.
But that little girl is still healing today because the things they did left an impression.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's the horror. That's the horribleness of when adults don't do their work.
Yeah.
Is it leaves deep impressions, and accountability is one of the greatest tools of pulling those impressions back and saying like, no, you know.
Just really quick, going back to the smoothie thing I said, remember, I'd get mad and then I'd be like, and then I'd take a breath, right? I'd use my code word burnt toast. And I'm like, okay, it's because I didn't have food. Like when I was your age, you guys, I didn't like have anyone looking out for my nutrition. And so in this moment, I feel like you guys don't really care. And so I would try to help them explain, like, so it makes me sad. But I also know, like, if you don't want to try that new thing, I totally get it. But I'd have to try to explain, like, why I reacted that way right away, go back, understand what happened. And then they'd be like, oh my gosh, okay, we get it, right? Like, again, age appropriately. But I even got to like tell them why I reacted that way about the smoothie, not because, oh my God, they're kids that are entitled that won't try something new. It was, no, I was feeling like unappreciated because I didn't have that. And if someone did that for me when I was that age, that would have felt so good. So I'm like, I'm sorry, my 8-year-old self really wanted validation.
I think it was powerful there. You also said, okay, that's me. Now, if you really don't like or don't want the smoothie, like that's okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to take care of me, quote unquote, by drinking the smoothie.
Yeah.
And there's a big difference there between, hey, you're making me feel bad versus, ooh, I'm processing something here. And we land on, oh, it's still okay for you not to drink the smoothie. Yeah. That's big.
Sometimes the repair statement can be more general as well. Something like, you know, these dynamics have really blindsided me and I'm still learning how to handle everything. I'm really struggling with learning where my role is and how to handle some of the dynamics.
Absolutely. I love that. My big go-to is like, mommy was not her best self. I'm trying to still understand what's happening, you know, and then either talk about it with EJ or if it is appropriate, you can go back and then, but it's like lovely, right, that we have kids and we're coaches and therapists, but for like someone who doesn't have those skills, it's because our nature is to like blame and be defensive and be like, just change and everything will be okay. Yes. So the more your podcast can reach others, the more our work can reach others. Like it really is about skills. It's not like I was born and be like, oh, this is how you become a step parent. And this is how you take accountability for all of your anger and resentment and rage.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's so important because we know, right? I mean, I come from a childhood trauma, massive. And I was like, I will become the change agent in my family. No matter how freaking hard it feels.
No matter what I have to work on.
I so relate to that, Tarah. I say often, you know, I hit a point in life where I realized I know exactly what I do not want for my life and for my family. But that's not the same as knowing how to get what I do want.
Yeah.
And I have to go learn the skills because they were never modeled for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's so good.
And the reality for blended families is there is no one person to blame. The people are not the problem. It's the dynamics and the complexities that create all the challenges. So blaming is just useless. It's a waste of our time and energy. We need
so
to.
True.
Well, I think you nailed it right there. Is that like is that like my avoidance certainly made it worse, right? And Tarah's over functioning made it worse, but it was going to be difficult no matter what. There wasn't like some way we could have like played it where it would have been like, whoa, we aced that. There was never a problem. You know, there is like an acceptance as well that like, this is going to be difficult.
Yeah.
They're just like, there are dynamics that are no matter what we do, we're going to struggle with. And so then it's just like, okay, well then let's just like try to adopt some sort of a growth mindset where we're both trying to like grow and use this as an opportunity. And that's our kind of overarching theme with no matter what couple we work with is whatever happens between us that's uncomfortable, it inevitably just points to both of our areas of growth.
Yes.
And if that can be sort of our ethos, you know, our value together, then we're going to probably end up having a much better life.
Yes.
You know, if I can just look at like whatever uncomfortableness happens for me last night or today, it's how do I use that to grow? How do I not be super activated?
Yeah.
You know?
So if you could get, I love what you're saying there, EJ, if you could give one tip for couples that says, hey, we're in a real challenge right now, and I resonate with what you just said, and I want to turn that challenge into an opportunity, and you could just give them one tip, what would that one thing be?
It has to be engaging in a process of insight building and tools.
Yeah.
You just have to have a couple of tools. You know, you have to have, you know, like simple things like a couple we just interviewed. One of the most impactful things for them was just an emotional check-in daily.
Yeah.
You know, having the code word, like having just some tools to stop doing damage.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, and then a structured, consistent way to learn about yourself, to learn about your partner.
I
mean,
that.
it's just how can you go wrong there?
Yeah.
You know, if I come to understand Tarah better, if I understand why she's reacting in the way she is, if I build empathy, what bad is going to come out of that?
Yeah.
If you get curious.
For sure.
Yeah.
Tara, what would you add to all that? That's so good, EJ. Thanks.
I know. I'm like, how do you top that? well, I was thinking this. I mean, there's so many things that come to mind, but when I first started having those moments, like EJ would walk through the door after he was gone all day, and I was like, I hate you. Like I had this hate. Like I'm such a lover. I'm a lover of love. I was like, something is off here. Like this isn't okay. I am not me. And so I don't know if you've ever heard of Tara Brach. She's amazing to me. She has this process called RAIN. Recognize, allow, investigate, nurture. And that's what I started doing. Because for me, and actually we teach this to almost every client that walks into our building, it allows you to have a feeling, to be okay with that feeling, to see where that feeling is showing up in your body, what it reminds you of, and to say, I'm okay, and to nurture yourself at the end. It's like most of the time we either want to ignore that feeling, not pay attention to it, or our parents are like, you shouldn't be feeling that.
Right.
So I started to learn that all of my feelings were okay and that I was safe, regardless of EJ's eye darts or not. His eye darts would make me feel unsafe because I was like, what's happening? And so I did this process of RAIN, again, recognize, allow, investigate, nurture. And I was like, okay, like it allowed me to process a feeling fully within minutes. I mean, I could spend like 20 minutes with it. I could spend 2 minutes, but then I could come back and be me, like who I was born to be, this beautiful heart with love and connecting and wanting to help others and heal others through just unconditional positive regard. So to me, it's like finding a process that helps you really be okay with your feelings, understand them, and know that you can handle it. Because I got so overwhelmed. I was like, I can't handle this. That was my negative core belief. I'm out of here, man. I'm in this minivan and I'm done.
I'm out. Yep. I get that.
But then I was like,
yep.
But then, right, the rain process, I recognize I'm overwhelmed. I feel scared. I feel anxious. I feel disappointed. Okay, it's happening. Don't try to change it. That's the allow piece. Don't try to change it. It is what it is. Okay, investigate. Where is it showing up? Oh my God, it's like heavy in my chest. I feel it in my stomach. Like, right? It would like bring up so many memories.
Yep.
But then it's the nurture, like, I'm an adult now. I can handle this. This is okay. But so many of those feelings stay stuck because we don't have anyone else helping us process through.
Yeah.
So that nurture piece of like, I can handle this, or even if like, you're spiritual, that there's like something bigger that's saying it's okay. However you can nurture yourself. Like that was my true path to freedom that was the start of it. And then of course, processing a lot of other things, but
yeah. So it's moving away from reactivity where you allow your emotions to just take over and then you're reactive.
Totally.
To moving into a place of empowerment where I'm gonna sit with this and I'm gonna be okay with it and I'm gonna get to a place where I can stand up against it and be okay. Yeah. It reminds me of a quote from psychologist Nick Wignall. He says, just because something feels bad doesn't mean it is bad. It's not the end of the world that we have negative feelings. It's part of being human.
Yeah.
I love how mature today Tarah is able to talk to 8-year-old Tarah in that moment.
So beautiful.
Say, it is okay.
So beautiful.
Be okay. You're not there anymore. And make it okay. Exactly what 8-year-old Tarah needed back then.
Yeah. Totally.
And you're providing that now. That's really powerful.
And also your recognition that those things that happened in the past don't stay in the past. They impact us because they're part of our journey as human beings.
Sure.
So many people resist going back there because they think, I'm over that. I'm done with that. But we have to allow ourselves that recognition piece that, wait, this feels like something I've experienced in my past and it's coming up now.
Yeah.
Our brain doesn't know if it happened yesterday or 20 years ago. It's the feeling of it. So when people can get really good at understanding, it's the feeling of it. It's not about that it happened yesterday or 20 years ago and that you can handle it. Like it actually changes the way your wiring happens now and your nervous system. I mean, it's awesome work.
Yeah.
So good.
We love it.
Wow.
This is
what a powerful conversation. Yeah. I am so excited for the work you're doing and the way that you're serving couples. Tarah, thank you for your vulnerability as well. Both of you for your vulnerability.
Love it.
I love that you're just able to be real, both of you guys. Thank you. I wonder if people are listening and they're going, man, I think I really need to connect with EJ and Tarah. Where are they going to find you?
I mean, the easiest thing is just relationshiprenovation.com. It's our website, and it has, if you're local to Arizona, information how to get to us at our counseling center, but it also has our links to our podcast. We have an online program that people can download a free sample and check it out. And then obviously our podcast, Relationship Renovation, or our YouTube channel.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
All of those we'll link to in the show notes as well.
Great. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Thank you so much. And thank you for your work from your own story. Like that is the most compelling work, right? When you live through it and you get through it, even though there's still challenging times, like that is the most compelling. I feel like that's why people like love working with us and you guys because you're not preaching from the mountaintop. You're like, hang on, we've been there before and this is what helps. And there's many different tools in the toolkit, but here's like,
I feel like we always connect with people. The people we connect the most deeply with are people who are like you guys, like us, who we got into what we're doing because we've been through it. There's just something that just feels like super connecting and easy to relate to.
Yeah, we've been in the trenches.
Yeah, we kind of think of ourselves like the Sherpas. We've been up through the trail several times. Come on, we'll kind of show you the direction.
We'll help you avoid the traps and get to the mountaintop. And
we're limping on the way, by the way.
And you're still subject to the weather, right? Like you might go up and down the hill, but like a big storm comes along and you guys are still walking through it.
That's right.
Exactly.
It's great. Well, hey, if each of you could leave our listeners with one thought, challenge, or encouragement, what would that be?
For me, I'm going with encouragement.
Okay.
And that it's right for me and for a lot of people I've worked with, right, when they're in a fearful situation or a, even like just feeling like something can't change, or they're trying to get some clarity when you're in a fear-based place, that's not possible, that the best thing you can do is say, how do I have more clarity? How do I work through this fear so that I can feel empowered that I have a choice, whatever the situation is? Just that you can get through it, but don't act out of fear. Get to a place of clarity.
That was awesome, Tarah. Thank you for sharing that. EJ, what would you say?
I mean, I've just had the honor, the pleasure of working with so many couples who've been in like the sort of the worst of the worst, and then see them be happier than they've ever been. And so, obviously not in the realm of domestic violence or lack of safety or whatever, but the amount of suffering that a couple might be in together, that there's a road, that people get through really dark seasons in their life. And so I would just want to be like, there's hope.
Yes.
There is hope that you and your partner can make amazing shifts and be more resilient and happier and more deeply connected than you've ever been.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, EJ. That was such a great way to phrase that. Our kind of key phrase for Blended Family Breakthrough is that we're all about cultivating hope. And you're absolutely right. There's hope. Yeah. So good.
Love it.
EJ Tarah, thank you so much for joining us. What a pleasure it is to have you on the show. I'm confident everybody listening just had such a rich time with us today.
Yes,
thank you for
so much value. We so appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's so fun talking to you guys.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Wow, what a rich and valuable conversation that was. I honestly feel like the insight and wisdom that EJ and Tarah shared is something we could all listen to a few more times just to let it really sink in.
Absolutely. I so appreciated their vulnerability too. Even though they're therapists, they were just so open about how confusing and painful some of the dynamics were in their blended family experience. And for you listening, maybe your specific situation isn't exactly like the Kerwins, but I'm guessing that some of the emotional struggles and relational challenges they faced really resonated with you.
Yeah.
I know they did for us.
Oh, yeah. We're so grateful to the Kerwins for their transparency and their willingness to come and share with us. If you'd like to check out their podcast or connect with them to learn more about their therapeutic approach, which sounds incredible, you'll find a link in the show notes for that.
That's right. And don't miss our simple step next week, where we'll dive a bit deeper into something the Kerwins shared. But you're going to need to follow the show so that you don't miss it. So be sure to do that now. But for now, we're going to make this episode a wrap.
Until next time.